How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Higurashi When They Cry. Okay, so if you're new here, welcome to TheBlueShifting. If you're old, walk these trails as me before, welcome back. Thank you. If you are new, I do lots of narrative-based games. I've done a lot of visual novels, so if you like Higurashi, you probably have heard some of the other classics I've covered. Love series, Steins Gate, Fata Morgana, and many more. I highly recommend you check my backlog if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Hopefully it's entertaining. I also would highly recommend the visual novel Seabed if you've never played it before. Fantastic one. But I also started covering other games as well. I started Yakuza 0. I'm doing the playthrough of Trails in the Sky, Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. I'm in the second game. And I've also been doing kind of a fun joke playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3 where I play a character who can't make decisions. I just do random dice rolls with everything and just see what chaos ensues. It's pretty fun. But yeah, I just do lots of interesting content, or at least I think it's interesting. It's a content I started making because I could never find content that matched what I was looking for on YouTube. And I'll tell you this too, I'm pretty down to earth as well. You're not going to hear me trying to crack tons of jokes. I'm not a comedian. I would love it if I could be found somewhat funny, but ultimately that's not why I'm here. I'm here to explore, do deep dives, character analysis, and kind of just really try and look at a story, make predictions, and really just go for the ride. So if you're somebody who enjoys the narrative aspect of games and really likes a deep dive, I think you'll find a good home here. Anyway, we're starting Higurashi. I've been wanting to start this for a long time, but I kind of made a promise. I decided I was going to do it after Muv-Luv, and then Muv-Luv kept, translating stuff. But we're finally taking a break from Muv-Luv, and we're going to be starting this series, and I'm very, very excited about it. I really don't know too much. I think I've accidentally seen clips from the anime in the past, but it's been a long time, and I've really tried to avoid spoilers. So I really don't know what this is all about at all, and even if I got some insights, I doubt I'll really put pieces together, because again, I'm pretty sure if I ever saw stuff that was from it, it was either so out of context I didn't recognize it, or I just avoided it because I understood it was based on a game that I wanted to play. So, I don't know, I've been really good about being able to avoid spoilers for the most part, and for that reason, I also ask if you're watching this, please avoid spoilers in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. It lets me be able to share my original thoughts and foundational thoughts, because this is a blind playthrough. I don't really know anything about this series at all, so hopefully you'll find that engaging. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to rant too long, just kind of giving a good foundation of what you can expect. This will be something that should be coming out every Monday, assuming life doesn't get in the way, but, that's how things go here. It's a hobby. It can't be my entire end-all, be-all of life. Maybe someday, but not right now. And of course, if you're a regular, thank you so much for being here. Let's see what we get to do in here. So I also should just say it's pretty obvious on the screen, but I did install the recommended mod. It should have updated visuals, updated sprites. I'm going to check the configuration and make sure that all the settings are appropriate, but everything should be good. If you notice something in the video that's not sounding right, or you think I might have screwed up, please let me know. I'd love to be able to adjust and fix it and make sure that I get the best experience possible. But yeah, I'm going to go check the configurations and stuff, and then we'll jump right into it. All right, so I went into the configuration. It's odd, and the text choice is the colors are just not great. But it seems to be working okay. I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing so far. One of the things I will have to tweak will be the sound. So for the first episode, I just tried guest, but there's a good chance that the voice is balancing with the sound effects and the music. Might be a bit off. If you're noticing anything, let me know. Usually I catch it in editing too, so even if the first episode's a little rough on the audio side, I usually tweak it and get it fixed up by then, so we're good. Alright, there's nothing else to it. I'm weirdly nervous for some reason, but we'll just jump right in. Also, if you're wondering why we didn't display the intro movie, I actually skipped it. It gave me an option to skip it because it said it had spoilers, so I just skipped it. As much as some people like to hear responses to that. Okay. Onikakushi. Onikakushi. There we go. Opening. Demon Away chapter. Welcome to the world of Higurashi When They Cry. The Onikakushi arc will be the opening, inviting you to this world. Sit back, relax, and enjoy life in Hinamizawa and to the fullest. The difficulty for this chapter is extremely high, but I hope you will enjoy the reward. Difficulty? Is it like Okay, when I hear difficulty, when I think of a VN difficulty, it just means like, oh, you'll get bad endings easily. Like, yeah, that means I'll probably dance through all of them. When I've played the games that have a lot of bad endings, I've tended to hit every single one for some reason, because like just logic is logic. But I also have been playing like, I don't know, Elden Ring lately, so like when I hear that, it's like, what, is there going to be challenging boss fights in this? That'll be interesting, but we'll have to see. I just feel weird it has to be like, it's difficult, but it's fine. It's cool. That's creepy. Please do not deplore yourself, even if this world does not forgive you. I will forgive you. Please do not deplore yourself, even if this world will not forgive you. I will forgive you. So please tell me, what will you take with you? What will it take for you to forgive me? Frederica Bergthansel? Sounds like, I don't know. This is a work of fiction, and a resemblance to actual persons or organizations is entirely coincidental. 1983, early summer of the 58th year of the Shouwa era. Oh, we're off to a good start. If I was going to be ripped apart anyways, having my body ripped apart would have been far better. Cool. Great. Nice. Wholesome. Good. I trusted her. No, I still trust her. Even in this very moment, I trust her. But I'm starting to realize I only wanted to trust her because I refused to accept the truth. If it was as if I was trying to convince myself in such a silly, sobbing voice. Those tears are making a mess of my face. That mechanical, repetitious sound finally stilled and everything fell silent. Only the cry of the cicadas remained, annoyingly loud. And yet, I feel as if I could still hear her voice. But that's not possible. She's no longer speaking. The only one crying is me. She never cried. Even when she repeated those words over and over, she never expressed any emotion because there was none to show. If she had no tears to shed for me, then I shouldn't need to shed any for her. Then why this pain, my eyes getting moist? Why was this happening? I still wanted to believe I hadn't been split apart. Is she talking literally, though? Because, like, that was like axe chopping sounds, so that's enough, right? Inside me, an inner voice whispered gently. My spirit had suffered enough. And at countless times I'd wavered over whether I should just throw the battered thing away. Except I've stubbornly refused to do that, haven't I? I'd feel better if I just threw it away. Even knowing that, I chose to believe, didn't I? Only I can understand the painful struggle and appreciate it. Hey, me? I've tried more than enough. I'll acknowledge that much. So, isn't it alright to just take it easy way out? Besides, I'm not throwing it away. I'm leaving it behind with her. Like flowers by a grave. Now then, calm your nerves. Even though you can't feel your right arm, just lift it up. And with every swing, forget a little more. Oh, so Weird the Chopper. That kindness made me happy. That adorable smile brought me joy. I like petting your head. With an axe? I love how demure you were. Wait, isn't that the word that's been memeing lately? I saw like some like shorts and TikToks about it, and I was like, what? I don't even care. I don't even want to bother with this, but here we are. Because this will be the last time. Because when I swing this down, I'll forget. This is my first and last bouquet for you. Perhaps I really did love you. Higurashi when they cry. I am already confused, but intrigued. Very intrigued. I got an achievement. Farewell. Cool. Not sure what that's all about. Alright, I want to test some buttons real quick. Nope, that's not it. But it gives me some of these pictures, so... Yeah, so voice levels, all that stuff. I'm trying to see T. Hide the text box as T. Is it? It's supposed to be T. It doesn't seem to be. Alright, but it looks like I can manually just go click hide the text box. So, a little annoying, but because I'm hitting T and it's not hiding it. So, anyway, somebody has been apologizing for a while now. Probably me. I wonder what she's apologizing for. Oh, maybe not. It felt wrong to eavesdrop, so I tried to ignore it. It had been a while since I'd last went to the city, only returned to attend the funeral of a relative. Even though I'd lived there until last month, I found the bustle of the city to be overwhelming. Those skyscrapers and the multi-laned roads, the melodious cacophony of the crosswalk. Even the campaign speeches blaring in front of the station felt nostalgic. The place where I live now isn't nearly as lively. There's only the chirping of locusts and the babbling of brooks. That sounds nicer. And the cry of the Higurashi, the evening cicadas. Oh, is that what Higurashi is? I had no idea. Rather than making me feel lonely, the quietness had begun to instill a sense of serenity. There is nothing where I'm living now. I don't just mean there aren't any burger joints. There aren't even any vending machines. No music stores, no restaurants, and no arcades. An ice cream parlor? Not a chance. The nearest town has some stuff like that, but it's an hour away by bike. But come to think of it, it wasn't really a big deal. There were music stores and arcades and ice cream parlors where I used to live, but it wasn't like I ever hung out of them anyway. I had lived in the city for 10 years and never once been in an ice cream parlor. I should have gone to at least one. It's only now that I'm starting to regret that a little. Somebody's still apologizing. Who is she apologizing to? She's apologized so much, so just forgive her already. There's no reason anyone should ever need to apologize so much. I started to feel a bit annoyed at whoever was refusing to forgive her. No matter how bad the mistake, there's nothing that can't be forgiven. There's no such thing as an irreparable mistake. You just need to be more careful next time. She's still apologizing even now. Then, has she really done something that can't be fixed? I have no idea what she's done, but if it can't be fixed, then that's all the more reason to forgive her. No matter how much she apologizes, nothing will change. But even so, she keeps apologizing in such a heartbreaking voice. Hey, you, the one she's apologizing to. Why don't you just go ahead and forgive her? She's apologizing in such a pathetic voice. So I'm looking at the sound effects. They're a little loud, but I think it's okay.
Keiichi, そろそろ着くぞ.
Keiichi.
起きなさい.
I was finally roused from my nap by my father's prodding. Ah, right. Ow. Soon the train had reached its final stop. We spent hours riding everything from the bullet train to the local routes. It was hard to believe that the landscape beyond the window in the city I was in half a day ago were in the same country. No, that they were even from the same era. From there, we'd take a car deeper into the mountains. Oh, nice little baseball stadium. Now that is a tiny road. Faster the dense forest encroaches on the mountain road suddenly opened up. Ooh, that looks really cool. I wonder if it's based on a real place. A lot of anime visual novels take a lot of art direction from very real places. It's this is where I live now. Hinamizawa. Is Hinamizawa a real place, or is this a location of a town nestled in these valleys? Based on a real place, but this is a fictional city kind of thing. Alright, Higarashi when they cry. We've seen the title 3 times now. Alright. Yeah, very simple. I want to try something else too. Yeah, okay, I can do a text log. Okay, that's good to know. Even though we were approaching summer, the morning air still had a frigid bite. Although in exchange, you could fill your lungs up with crisp, clean air. Flipping open the window, I was greeted with a verdant expanse. Nothing but trees. Ah, heaven. I love it. I grew up in a desert area, just flat brushland, and trees if you were patient, watered them all the time, and took care of them. But now I live somewhere where there's just trees everywhere, and I love it. I'm a huge, huge sucker for forests. The neighboring house was far away on the other side, so I was probably the only one enjoying that view and that air. It filled my lungs with another deep breath. Since I started living in Hinamizawa, I had learned that even the air had its own taste. It's kind of like trying tap water in a new town. Oh, that's loud. It'll be okay, because I'll have to turn it down, but we'll all have to see. I quickly finished getting ready for school and headed downstairs for breakfast. My mother was the only one there. My father was nowhere to be seen. He was probably up working up until the early morning. Dad had a rather unconventional job as a painter. That's not bad. It's such a laid-back profession. Get up when you want, sleep when you want, and work when you want. I was so jealous of the easygoing lifestyle. I even wrote for school that I wanted to be a painter when I grew up. Dad was ecstatic about that. Oh, I thought he was a painter like painting walls of the houses, but no, like it sounds like he's an artist. Like he makes paintings and sells them. That's crazy. It was just because it looked easy. Never tell him that though. Mom laid breakfast on the table. Seaweed, pickled vegetables, raw egg, and a grilled salmon. My mom was such a good cook, it was scary. A perfect, immaculate, ideal breakfast. Unlike my dad, who didn't even know the meaning of the word schedule, my mom never squandered any time or effort. She hummed a little tune as she brought over the miso soup. Seemed like she was in a good mood today.
こっちに引っ越してきてからケイイチが早起きになって嬉しいわね。
I like that name, Keiichi. Keiichi. It's like I need to be holding the E sound when I say it, but I'm probably going to be inconsistent. Keiichi.
早起きしないと朝飯を食いそびれるんだよ。
I thought I was being cute, responding with a wisecrack after being praised for being good.
ご飯はいっぱい？それとも半分くらいでいい？
She just went right over her head.
山盛り。
First, I savored the steaming hot rice with the seaweed. After that, I covered it with an egg. Between bites of rice, I enjoyed the crunch of the pickles. Not bad at all. Excellent, as usual. Watching me clean my plate, Mom gave me a warm smile.
こっちに引っ越してきてからケイイチが朝食を欠かさないんで嬉しいわね。
Interesting that used to be a problem. And it sounds like a fantastic breakfast, honestly. Little much for me, but I just don't eat much. I was not a morning person when we lived in the city. I slept right until the last minute before school and rarely ate breakfast. Boycotting the breakfast Mom made me each morning. That was probably the only way I could protest being forced to attend cram school. I guess that was what you'd call my rebellious phase. I wouldn't so much as look at the breakfast she woke up early every day to make. If I could go back in time, I'd slap myself. I already like this guy. He seems pretty cool. He's like learned and is appreciating the things that he has. Usually it takes a while for a main character to get this appreciatory. Mindful of the time, Mom rushed me along with a wide grin.
そろそろレナちゃんと待ち合わせの時間じゃない？
Oh, is that our neighbor friend?
急いで急いで。
Mom really seemed to enjoy the fact that her son was going to school with a girl. Rena is one of my classmates. She really loves looking after people, coming to meet me every day without fail. The way I look at it, a guy my age walking to school with a girl was just lame. But, well, keeping a classmate waiting for me every day wouldn't be very considerate. Seriously though, how long does Rena wait for me for me every morning? Taking one last gulp of miso soup, I raced for the door.
レナちゃんにお漬物ありがとうって伝えてね。
Come to think of it, those pickles weren't store-bought, were they? If I'd known that, I would have savored them a bit more. Alright, something horrific's gotta be happening, right? Because this is too idealized. It's so picturesque. He's got like this fantastic home life. His mom's making him all this great food. Having parents for a main character already like wildly inconsistent territory for storytelling, right? At least in anime and visual novels. He has a girl that walks him to school every day. He lives in this beautiful countryside town. It's just something's gonna go horrifically wrong.
Ayo!
Alright, let's see if we can see this Rena. Hello. There she is. Her cheerful greeting was fresh as the morning itself.
相変わらず早いな。たまにはのんびり朝寝坊したっていいんだぜ。
She has kind of little sister slash girl next door energy. Huge. I mean, she technically is probably girl next door, but like she's exuding the energy. So just blah.
お寝坊したらケイイチくんを待たせちゃうじゃない。
She's so conscientious and such a good person.
そん時は置いてく。
Oh,
圭一くん冷たい。
he's so mean already. Good grief.
いつも待っててあげてるのに。
サクサク置いてく。キリキリ置いてく。
どうして冷たいんだろう。
Why does she seem like happy about that though? Rena had a slightly troubled look on her face. Toying with her was rather fun because of how quickly her mood changed.
嘘。ちゃんと待ってるよ。
With those words, Rena seemed to relax. Her face flushed bright red.
ありがとう。
レナが来るまでずーっと待ってる。
Oh, geez, like, calm down. Just a little laying it on thick, aren't you?
いつまでも。
Oh, jeez. He clearly is just making fun of her. Well, not making fun of her, but poking fun at her. Rana turned bright red, steam rising from her head as her brain short-circuited. She's especially weak to this sort of talk. It's quite rare to find someone this fun to tease.
レナはロマンスものの文庫本は読んだことあるか？
Oh gosh. Calm down, dude. You're gonna give her an aneurysm.
ないよ。読んだことない。
From that response, I gathered she was interested in them, but was too embarrassed to actually buy one. I couldn't imagine what would happen if she did read one. She'd probably turn red and pass out.
そうそう。お袋から伝言。漬物サンキューでしたって。
どういたしまして。どうだった？しょっぱくなかったかな？
They weren't that salty. It's funny because well, not funny, but I do a little gardening, nothing major. But this year I tried to make pickles, so I planted like cucumbers, pickling cucumbers specifically, like the ones that are notorious for making good pickles. And I grew them, and they got really big and really nice. So I was like, oh, perfect. I picked them, and I went through and brined and pickled them and everything, and I was really excited to try them, and they tasted like horrifically bitter. Like the dill was there, like because I love dill pickles are my favorite. So I got the dill flavoring in, but the pickle itself was just so mushy and sour, I guess. Turns out you're supposed to pick the pickles. Well, not pickles. You pick the cucumbers when they're still adolescent. You don't pick them when they're ripe, because apparently when they're ripe, they go really bitter on you when you pickle them. So I'll have to try again next year. Actually, they had a pretty light flavor to them. It would have been fine to just be honest and say they were good, but apparently I couldn't be that forthright.
その前に聞きたい。あの漬物を漬けたのはレナか？レナのお母さんか？
なんで聞くんだろう。
He's like, because I want to know if I could tease you.
しょっぱかった？
Her attitude completely changed as she began to panic frantically.
レナか？レナのお母さんか？
なんで作った人聞くんだろう。太郎。
This isn't like a terrible way, because he definitely enjoyed them. So if he just says like, if he's just putting her on the spot and then gonna say like, oh, they were fantastic.
どっちが作ったかで感想が著しく変わる。
She counted frantically on her fingers, trying to remember the amount of salt she'd used to pickle them. It wasn't like I was trying to tease her, but I couldn't stop myself. Guess guys who take pleasure in this kind of thing are probably the worst. Guys like me. Rena nervously opened and closed her mouth over and over, trying to muster a response.
レナだけど。
うまかった。前回に続きなかなかだったぜ。飯との相性は最高だった。
See, like he's kind of he's being a jerk a little bit, but he's always coming through in the end with like a decent response, so I can't really hold it against him. Her face went bright red again. She was completely spacing out. It truly was a lot of fun to tease her. I pray that Rena never gets taken advantage of by some lowlife. Keep at it, Rena. I'll train you until you handle it like an average person. Or so I decide for myself.
行こうぜ。ミオンを待たせるとあいつうるさいぞ。
Seeing as she's just kept spacing out otherwise, I call Rena back to reality so we can make our way to school. This strange, easily flustered girl is Rena Ryugo. I've only known her for about a month, but I've come to realize that it's not just her name that's strange. Alright. Oh, that's a dramatic change to music. Coming up to the next rendezvous point, we saw another person waiting for us. Noticing us, she waved.
お、来た来た。遅いよ二人とも。
Hello, hello. She looks fun. I like her hair. Hair looks really cool.
いつも遅いのはお前の方だろ。
Okay, but I do gotta say this. Okay, so these outfits. Are we going to the same school? Because like the styles are very different. So maybe she's like older and going to like high school, and we're going to the middle school or something. I don't know. In sharp contrast to the diligent Rena, the one who marched to the beat of her own. This one marched to the beat of her own drum. She's Mion's. Oh, jeez. Sonozaki. From what it's worth, she's our senior and head of the class.
おはようレナ。そしてケイちゃんお久しぶり。何年ぶりだっけ？
Years? What?
2日しか休んでねえよ。
I like her. I already like her. Like, just her personality so far. Like, I like her.
そうだっけか？
Mion.
前に会った時はあんなに可愛かったのにな。
How much older are you than us? Mion's gaze stared at my chest, then dropped straight down, focusing on the point between my legs. Hey, that's... It's weird when it's reversed. It's weird all the time. It's like, whoa! So she was saying it was my crotch that was cuter back then. Before you ask, just to be clear, never actually tried to show it to her.
そうだよ、立派になったぞ。
I'm glad we clarified that before you said that.
驚くぞ。
たくましくなっちゃった上にヒゲまで生やしちゃってさ。
That's a great response.
毎朝元気全開で大変なんだ。今度見せてやるから挨拶してみろ。
Rena, plug your ears. It's too much for you.
今度なんて言わないで今がいいな。朝の新鮮な空気を吸わせてあげたら。
Interesting. I don't think I've ever heard her talk so dirty you could smell it fouling up the morning air before. Mion sure does act like an old man sometimes.
よし、わかった。大公開だ。後悔するなよ。
As my hand reached for my fly, Rena began to ramble in a near panic.
ねえ何の話？
Yep, just like I thought, whoosh, right over her head.
何の話だろ？何の話だろ？
Or she's comprehending it, but like she's in denial. Red-faced and flustered, Rena tried to play dumb, but it was obvious she knew exactly what we were talking about.
どうだった？久しぶりの都会はさ。
Mion switched gears, dropping the dirty talk and changing to a topic something more befitting of a pleasant morning.
葬式で行っただけだぜ。慌ただしいだけだったよ。
でさ、探しといてくれた？頼んどいたやつ。
お前、人の話聞いてないだろ。
Well, she clearly has an agenda.
俺は葬式で帰っただけだぜ。おもちゃ屋巡りをしてる余裕なんかなかったんだよ。
ち。おもちゃ屋とホビーショップは全然違うよ。
Ooh, what did she want?
特に洋物、こっちじゃなかなか手に入らないからね。
Interesting. So she wanted a hobby store that's from Western. Alright, what would she be interested in? There could be a lot of stuff she could be interested in, but if it's in the hobby stuff, maybe it's a... No, probably not a video game type thing, because that would be probably just as available in Japan, if not more available in Japan. I don't think, maybe she's into wrestling or something? That always seems to be oddly popular in Japan occasionally.
みーちゃんまたゲームの話？
Oh, it is a game. Mion nodded proudly as Rena giggled.
そう、ケイちゃんに洋芸のカタログを持ってきてもらいたかったんだけどね。
Oh, okay. Westport was short for Western Imported Games. Using that abbreviation did make it sound pretty geeky.
そんなのまた通販で取り寄せりゃいいじゃねえか。
ま、そうするかな。またプレイングの熱いゲームを入荷するからね。
What are you talking about?
今度は私にもわかりやすいゲームがいいな。
But like Harvest Moon? Mion is a board and card game enthusiast, and I heard she's collecting quite a lot of different ones. Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense. Board games. Ooh, cool. Yeah. Mion and I would get along real good, I think. According to Rena, Mion's room has kind of become a museum for domestic and foreign games.
俺にも分かりそうなゲームがあったらやらせてくれよ。
へえ、いいよ。ケイちゃんさえ良ければね。でもうちらのレベルは高いよ。
I bet you're real competitive.
上等じゃねえか。俺だって遊び100番遅れを取るつもりはないぜ。
はあ、じゃあ今度はケイチくんも仲間に加わるのかな？
Wait, like there's a whole like club I'm not even like privy to? Bristling with joy from head to toe, Rena looked back and forth between me and Mion. Mion gave her an affirmative wink, and her expression perked up even further.
男の子ってきっと外で遊ぶ方が好きだと思ってたから、ダメかと思ってたよ。
Rena laughed happily. From such a friendly conversation, you wouldn't think I had moved here less than a month ago. I understood that they did all they could to make their transfer student like me feel at home. I'll have to try hard to fit in, so they won't feel like they have to try to make me feel welcome. I don't know, dude. I think they just genuinely like you. I feel like I acted a bit more open than I usually am. I should probably be about right for this place. Is this the school? Oh my gosh, I forgot, like, we're in a small town? It might be like a super small town. My dad grew up in a really small town. Like, I think, like, they had the middle school and high school was one building, and I think the entire school had, like, I don't know, I think he said, like, 80 students. Like, the class sizes were insanely small. Hinamizawa was a really small village. Not only was there only one school, but there's only one class. Oh my gosh! That class was encompassed all different grades and ages. That would be insane. How? I can't even imagine that. Because, like, it would mean that there's a good chance that, like, kids are, like, there's some kids that are just alone in their entire grade. Maybe a few have a couple friends that are around their age. That's crazy. There are about 30 students at different levels, and they all study in the same class. I'm told that long ago there used to be a bigger school building that they had actual separate classes. However, it seems something happened that made it become a single class, and now it stayed that way out of tradition. I was shocked at first, but humans adapt pretty quickly. I've already gotten quite used to it. The sound of children playing started right from the morning. With such a lively mood, it felt more like a kindergarten than a proper school. Not that that was a bad thing. Mion, who had been walking in front of us up until then, suddenly let me take the lead. Right in front of the classroom door. Suspicious. So I was meant to slide the door open and enter the room first. Too bad I wasn't gonna fall for that again.
ここで先頭を譲るとはな。お手並み拝見ってことかよ。
I like Mion. She's great. Mion chuckled with a haughty smirk on her face.
どうしたの二人とも。
下がってろレナ。危ないぞ。やつだ。
じゃあ、さとこちゃんが
So it's a trap. Her name was Satoko Yojo. She was a disrespectful, impudent, bossy kid. The way she talks was annoying, but it would be immature to get worked up over just that. The real problem was this.
見え見えの罠だな。引き戸の上に挟んだ黒板消し。
Oh, that's not too bad. That's like the just drops on your head and covers you with like chalk dust.
見え見えだぜ、サトコ。
A haughty laugh came from beyond the door.
お見事、ケイちゃん。こりゃ今回は勝負あったかな。
She's relenting too quickly. There's a double layer.
いや、相手はサトコだ。これだけとは思えない。
After falling for such intricate traps since the day I transferred, I no longer let my guard down. Satoko liked to combine a variety of traps. Traps that were simply there to bait you into the main ones. Traps that relentlessly kept coming at you like a sadistic Rube Goldberg machine. The list goes on. As well as being clever, they almost never misfire. Ew, she sounds interesting too. When you least expect it, she strikes! No escape, no time to relax.
見たところ、黒板消しは普通。石とかは入れてないみたいだな。
I took a pretty heavy hit from a blackboard eraser loaded with rocks on my first day. Ugh.
じゃあさ、ガラガラって開けて落としちゃえばいいんじゃないかな。
それだ!
That's what Satoko was after. Making me focus my attention upward, so I lifted my hand to the door. There were thumbtacks stuck to the sliding door handle with tape, a frightening trap. Oh, jeez! Okay, this went from playfully fun to genuinely sadistic. What the fetch? A potent and terrifying trap. Concealed by using the blackboard eraser.
見事なコンボだ、サトコ。だが、所詮はガキの浅知恵だったな。
Hey. Assured of my victory, I threw the door open and stepped into the room. Felt something strange at my ankle. It was similar to the sensation of a jump rope catching on my leg. By the time I realized she had me, hook, line, sinker, it was already too late. I began to fall in an almost picturesque manner.
ケイちゃん、避けて!
I instinctively reached toward Mion's shrill warning. I twisted my body in midair before landing on the floor. What did we almost land on? An inkstone filled to the brim was placed right where I should have landed. I don't know what an inkstone is, but okay. I shuddered, imagining the situation I had landed square on it. You.
あらあら、これは。
I'm not sure if I should be impressed or terrified of you. I like her eyes, though.
おはようございます、ケイチさん。朝から賑やかですわね。
yeah. Still sprawled in an awkward position, I was greeted by a mocking voice.
一段とスペシャルなトラップワークになったじゃないか、サトコ。
私何のことかわかりませんもの。朝からついてませんわね。
てめえ。あ、いててててて。
It seemed I'd inadvertently sprained my back a little when I landed. Strained my back, not sprained it. Better than landing on that inkstone. Oh, hello. You're cute. Small hand gently rubbed my head.
ケイチの痛いの飛んでいけです。
Aww. The small dainty hand continued to gently stroke my head.
腰とかはくじかなかったですか？こうして撫でていれば痛いのは消えてきますです。
Hello, little one. I thought about asking how rubbing my head would help my back, but I didn't. It's not so much about what you actually do, it's the thought that counts.
ありがとな。リカちゃんのおかげで
リカ
痛みが引いてきたぜ。
Rika.
わあ、リカちゃん、おはよう。
Yeah, it looks like we've got just like people of all different ages, which is really interesting. That's something that doesn't come up a lot.
レナにおはようございます。みんなにもおはようございますです。
Rika-chan greeted each of us with an adorable little bow. It was infectious. Rena, Mion, and I all bowed back.
リカちゃんはいい子だよな。それに比べてサトコは。
I glared over in her direction. Satoko was whistling while rather deliberately trying to avoid eye contact.
サトコはいい子でございますのことよ。
Oh, I'm sure you are.
いい子はこんな凶悪な罠は仕掛けないぞ。
The thumbtacks are pretty insane.
言いがかりでございますわ。何の証拠があって。うわ
I picked up Satoko by the back of her collar. She looked like a misbehaving cat when I do this. But a cat wouldn't be setting traps. She'd much harder to deal with.
ごめんなさいって言ってみな。言わないなら。
I crooked my little finger on my thumb, letting it tremble as I brought it closer to Satoko's forehead. Oh, like a
暴
flick.
力反対ですの。証拠もないのに。
言っとくが俺のデコピンはすごく痛い。ベニヤくらいなら割る。
Oh, yeah.
やめて、寄らないでけだもの。
人様が聞いたら誤解するような言い方をするんじゃねえ。
A small hand tugged at the back of my shirt.
ケイチが2日間もお休みしたから寂しかったのです。
Don't be spilling secrets, Rika. Rika-chan really is just so... How could I do anything more after being told that? I gently released my grip on Satoko, who at this point was on the verge of tears. She still had her eyes clamped shut as she braced herself on for the forehead flick. Aww.
うわー、
Yeah, a little far.
悔しくなんかないもん。うわー、泣いちゃダメです、サトコ。ファイト、おーです。
Rika gently patted the head of her prankster friend. You would never guess these two are the same age. I think Satoko could learn a thing or a million from Rika-chan.
今度はもっとすごい罠を仕掛けなさいですよ。
So did they ever say how old they are, or are we just left to just guesstimate? Wait a minute. As she observed the scene, Rena's expression grew ecstatic as she began to swoon.
サトコちゃん泣いている。
Aw, you're a fan of her?
かわいいよ。
持ち帰っちゃダメだからね。
Yeah.
だってこんなにかわいいよ。
どんなに可愛くてもダメなの。
でもちょっとくらいなら。
It's
ダメ
funny.
かな。
If it were anyone else, Rena, that would sound a little creepy. Rena kept a cutesy face, even as outrageous ideas spewed from her mouth. I'm glad it's acknowledging it. According to Mion, Rena is ridiculously weak to cute things and always tries to take them home. Object or person.
物もまずいが誘拐はもっとまずいぞ。諦めろ。
じゃあ見てるだけだよ。それならいいよね。
Rena swooned over Satoko's crying for him. If a girl ever goes missing in Hinamizawa, I'll be forced to turn Rena into the authorities. Forgive me, Rena. I'll be sure to bring you a care package when they put you away.
先生来たよ。早く片付ける。さとこ、すずりあんたのでしょ？
Just from Mion's single statement, the entire mood of the room shifted back to normal. The inkstone was bad, but the thumbtacks stuck to the door handle were an even bigger problem. I pulled the tape off carefully, making sure not to skewer myself. Even though Satoko was the one who set it up, everyone had to pick up after her. By the time the teacher entered the room, the bedlam from before had been neatly tidied up.
間に合ったね。起立！気をつけ！
Alright, Mion gave the morning commands. Alright, sounds pretty sweet. It's difficult to being the teacher for all these different grades in one classroom. She has to teach something different to each one. But naturally, she ends up spending all of her time with the younger kids. Rena and Mion, being the highest grade in the class, end up mostly doing self-study. They even end up helping teach the younger kids, so it seems like they can never get on with their own studies. They're actually way better behind where my studies have progressed to. As a result, I'm pretty much taking over for the teacher and helping Rena and Mion with their studies. Interesting.
ケイチ君はお勉強教えるのうまいね。わかりやすいよ。
Rena took a breather after finishing highlighting an important section.
教える端から自信がなくなるよ。
Oh, why?
自分の理解の浅さがわかるな。
人に教えるには3倍理解してなければならないって言うしね。
I also think that you need to kind of have a passion for it, like even just a sliver of one. Nothing was worse than a teacher who just literally was showing up to get a paycheck.
ケイちゃんもうちらに教えながら同時に復習もできてるわけなんだよ。
In contrast, this person over here is quite laissez-faire about things. For one, she isn't supposed to be at a higher grade. Isn't she supposed to be in a higher grade than me?
ミヨンさ、一言じゃないぞ。真剣にやんないとまずいぜ。こんなレベルじゃ。
別に進学校を目指すわけでもないし。
Well, I mean, you still should get something.
受験に必要なそこそこができてりゃ十分。
Her staunch defiance was really something else. This was a different type of relax than somebody who already knew what was going to be on the entrance exam.
みーちゃん、ケイチ君が頑張って教えてくれるんだからさ、私たちも頑張ろうよ。
レナは素直ないい子だな。先生がきっといい学校に進学させてやるからな。
ありがとう。
Okay, like, I'm the kind of person that I can relate to Rena a bit because part of the reason why I said at the beginning of the video that like I've never seen myself and I've never been a successful comedian. Part of it is because I take things way too seriously. It makes it great for me to analyze a story because like I can roll with it and kind of really immerse myself in the world. But the downside is it means that I take almost everything at face value. So I'll have friends I'll be hanging out with and they'll say a joke and every time for at least a half second I completely take them seriously and like have to think it through to make sure I'm not completely missing something. And so a lot of jokes will go over my head, or I will like read what's meant to be a sarcastic comment and answer it like reasonably, like and seriously, because I completely missed the point. I'm so bad at that. Again, it gives me a solid appreciation for the stories I read. You know, I really immerse myself in the worlds around me, but it can be a real pain when it feels like it's like I keep duping myself or missing out on the joke. So unfortunately, Ren and I have a lot more in common than I wish.
レナには特に教えてやるからな。二人きりでプライベートレッスンだぞ。
Okay.
プライベートレッスン。
Stop teasing the poor girl. A puff of smoke shaped like a halo popped out of Rena's head. Exactly what kind of private lessons is she fantasizing about that's making her turn so red? I'd like to hear the play-by-play for the next time. While Mion was flipping through her vocabulary flashcards, she threw out a casual question.
都会じゃさ、こんなに勉強しなきゃいけないわけ？
この程度はできないと進学できないね。
進学できないから勉強するわけ？
まあ、平たく言えばそうなるな。将来役に立たないのは承知で。
Hey, it depends on what you're doing, but yeah, like if you don't know, it can be frustrating.
こっちじゃさ、出席日数が足りてりゃみんな進学できるんだよ。
Really? Like local universities out in the country?
そうなのか?
Study equals entrance exams. Having that basic law of the universe so easily overturned sent me into a state of shock.
そうかもね。
Oh, look at that smirk.
試験で振り落とさなきゃならないほど人もいないし。誰でも進学できるならさ、そんなにガリガリとやることもないんじゃない？
Well, you might still struggle with the coursework, but I get it.
まあそうだけど、でも一般常識程度にはできた方が。
おじさんはそんな無駄な勉強に時間をかけるよりさ。
Haha. It's. I appreciate the old geezer talk, but I mean, he's got a point. I like how I could really. I so far I'm on the same page with this main character. It's oftentimes you feel like the main characters can be really out of left field or something, but this one seems pretty just normal dude.
この思春期の貴重な時間をもっと有意義に過ごすために使うべきじゃないかなと考えるわけよ。
It was too profound a statement to simply laugh off. But since it was Mion, I probably didn't actually have that deep of a meaning. In place of a chime, the school the sound of the principal waving a handbell drifted through the classroom.
ケイちゃん、おしまいおしまい。さあ、楽しいランチタイム。
In a complete 180 from her unmotivated state, Mion gave the commands that signaled the end of the morning period.
ケイチくん、お昼にしよう。
I might have been making a very troubled face. Rena smiled brightly at me.
よっしゃ、飯にするか。
I mean, it's a pretty chill life. I'd be down. This sounds like a fun way to spend. Like you could be grudge saying like there's not a lot of people around. It's hard to make make friends. But like with a small community, you make friends with everybody. It's kind of cool. It'd suck if someone turned out to be really toxic and really like a pain to be around. But so far, even the prankster is not too bad. There seem to be different cliques even within the class. Most of them were divided up by gender and age, but our group was different. Our ages were different, and we had both boys and girls. But we weren't reserved around each other. This level of openness makes the transfer student like me pretty happy. Rena and Mion pushed their desks together so they were facing each other. At the same time, Satoko and Rika-chan were slowly lugging their desks over as well.
ケイチくん、早く早く。
Rena waved her chopsticks in an unrefined manner, trying to hurry me along. Unless everyone was together, they wouldn't even open their lunchboxes.
ケイチさんのお弁当はきっと貧乏くさくパンの耳に決まってますわ。
What? Who talks like this?
そう、恥ずかしがらずにお見せなさいな。ほらほら。
Even though Satoko was hurling insults at me, she still wouldn't open the lid to her lunchbox until I was there. I pulled out my lunchbox swiftly and dragged my chair over to the circle.
おう、お待たせ。
では、ミー委員長の号令でいただきますです。
Representative me. At first, this was kind of embarrassing, but I got used to it pretty fast. At this point, I probably wouldn't even open my lunchbox if someone else was too slow. Our ages and genders may have all been different, but we were all friends.
いただきます。
That's cute. The sound of our little 5-part chorus echoed beautifully throughout the classroom. Oh, look at that. Here we go. There's a shot. There's a picture. Perfectly innocent, perfectly happy, good smiles. What could possibly go wrong? Something's gonna go wrong. There's no conflict. Or is this gonna just be a happy-go-lucky fun time for the entire story? Really though, I've gotten pretty used to this group made up of all girls. Of course, there are other boys in the class, but they were a lot younger, so they were scared to approach me. Well, that's to be expected. Younger boys just see older boys as scary. Compared that to girls, well, at least these girls aren't picky. We put all the side dishes in the middle where everybody was free to pick at them. Oh, okay, so that's why they do it. They almost do like hot pot style. That's cute. That's a really fun idea. I thought girls would mind sharing a meal with a guy, so I was a bit flustered joining in. However, Mion noticed that and teased me quite a bit. As the fruit of my efforts, I can reach over and take sides from anybody's lunch.
あらあら、ケイチさんのお弁当は今日は大奮発ではございませんこと？
あらあら、さとこさんのお弁当こそ大奮発ですこと。煮物がしっくていい感じですわ。
Buying into the fight that Sakoto was starting, our chopsticks locked at a cross counter, stabbing each other into each other's lunch.
ビミ
お、里芋がいい感じだぞ。煮物は冷めててもうまいよな。
After seeing my happy face, Rika-chan's expression broke into a little smile.
夕べの夕食の煮物を少し取っておきましたですよ。
By the way, Sakato and Rika-chan's lunches are always the same. It seems that Rika-chan makes it for both of them every day.
この煮物もリカちゃんが作ったのかい？こいつはお袋の味クラスだよな。
I was honestly impressed. The carrot rosettes weren't from a mold. They were done by hand with a knife. Oh my gosh, that must have taken forever. That's not easy to do.
リカちゃんって何気にそういうの得意なんだよな。
Too good.
お裁縫とかお洗濯とかも上手なの。
How? She looks like she's like 13.
すごいよね。すっごいよね。リカはいろいろとすんごいんですのよ。
I have not heard a good laugh in a while. That was good.
お前が威張ることじゃねえ。
僕よりレナの方がお料理は上手です。
Miss Star. Seeing that the topic of conversation switched to Ren when she wasn't expecting it, making her blush and trip over her words. Ren's lunch really was the star of the table. Not only did it look good, it tasted good. Everyone else pulled from Ren's lunchbox constantly.
これ前に評判良かったからいっぱい作ってみたの。美味しいかな？
かなり合格点。あ、ミオ、お前取りすぎだよ。
Knocking Mion's chopsticks aside, I reach out and try to secure my own portion. Satoko and Rika-chan reach over at the same time as a struggle ensues. Everyone shoveled in mouthful after mouthful, praising it, and Ren's lunchbox was soon empty. It was kind of bad that no one thought to leave any for Rena. But Rena seemed rather satisfied as she looked on.
いかがかしら。レナさんもとてもお料理が上手ですことよ。ケイイチさんとは大違いですの。
だからお前が威張ることじゃねえだろ。
サトコだってケイちゃんと変わらないじゃんよ。あんたブロッコリーとカリフラワーの区別つくようになったわけ？
You better. They're freaking like almost like from other planets. They just look somewhat shapely the same. Satoko's face went pale.
おいおい、ブロッコリーとカリフラワーの違いなら俺だってわかるぜ。
So could probably a blind person. How do you not know?
わかりますもの。わかるもん。
Is it really hard for her to lie? But the prankster can't lie.
どっちでも茹でてマヨネーズかけると美味しいじゃない？
Sure. I think mayo's a bit much.
いじめちゃかわいそうだよ。みーちゃんも。
Rena hurriedly tried to follow up, but Mion laughed haughtily as she drew closer to Satoko.
まあまあ家庭科の授業ってことで。じゃあサトコ、これは？
Satoko. Mion lifted up her chopsticks. Between them was a piece of green stuff wrapped in bacon.
でもそれアスパラ。
Mion made eye contact with me, and within 0.3 seconds, I had Rika-chan's mouth covered. Holding a piece of bacon-wrapped asparagus and giving her two choices, she's pretty terrible.
黄色がカリフラワー。緑がカリフラ。
Oh man.
さあどっちだ？
多分黄色がブロッコリーで
Blue?
青がカリフラワー。でも緑は
本当にどっちか分かってる？降参した方が良くない？
Admit defeat. I'd expect no less from the class representative. The oldest. The way she drives people into a corner just shows how much experience she has. This is just a hunch, but being brought into the Sonozaki household must be quite the ordeal.
わかりますもの。わかるもん。
じゃあ答えなよ。
わかるも
Aww.
ん。わかるもん。
For a prankster, you break pretty quick. She finally broke down and started crying. When she acts like this, she actually starts to seem her age. Oh boy. Rena entered a state of euphoria as Satoko bawled her eyes out. Rena was in a state of bliss as she rubbed her cheek against Satoko's head and smothered her. Really, like a very content face. One that wouldn't care if the world were ending right then. It was that kind of smile.
レナ、ミオンさんがいじめるんですの。
Oh boy.
かわい なお姉ちゃんが悪い人たちはやっつけちゃうからね。
Oh my gosh, she's actually attacking people. Look at that. I'm surprised with, like, I thought it was gonna be a struggle to get some decent thumbnails, but this is great. Whish woof bam. It was like a flash of lightning.
今一体何が
Both Rena's fists shot out in supersonic speed, striking Mion and me squarely in our faces. Before we knew it, Mion and I were sprawled spread eagle on the floor, staring up at the ceiling with matching welts on our faces.
ケイちゃんは食らうの初めてだよね。今日のはまだ
Oh my
甘い方。
gosh. Oh, she must be terrifying.
甘いってこれよりまだ上があるってのかよ。
With that, Mion and I both slumped our heads back to the floor in unison. From now on, we'll be careful when I'm within striking distance of Rena. Maybe you shouldn't tease her so much.
ほらさとこちゃん、やっつけちゃったよ。かわいい。お持ち帰りしたい。
Making sure Rena couldn't see it, Satoko stuck out her tongue at us. Dang it all, use Rena like a puppet. Rika-chan massaged our bruises without saying a word. Oh, class time is starting again. Or maybe end of school. No matter what the day had held, the last school bell always came too soon. Our shadows stretched off into the distance.
ねえ、ケイチくん、明日はさ、何か予定とかあるかな
Oh, why do you ask? It was such a direct question from Ren. I inadvertently blushed. If it was for a date, then wouldn't you do it more subtly? Rena saw me lost for words and realized I had misunderstood and turned red as well.
違うの。そういうのじゃなくて、
So apparently that wasn't what she meant. But since it's always fun when Ren's in a panic, I went along with it a little.
なんだそういうのじゃないのかよ。
You watch it, bud. You're gonna wake up tomorrow and be married to her. Playing it up, I slumped my shoulders, fading dejection.
ケイチくん、なんでがっかりしてるんだろう。太郎。
It's like almost sickeningly cute. Like it's like laying it on real thick.
みーちゃん。
That laugh is something else. What the fetch was that? Unable to hold it any longer, Mion slapped me on the back.
そっか、そういう攻め方はおじさん知らなかったわ。
She laughs like a witch.
何なんなの
Mion was rolling on the floor, clutching her stomach while Red flailed around completely bewildered. I couldn't help but start laughing as well, feeling just a bit guilty. I ruffled Rena's hair.
嘘ごめん冗談悪かったよ。
She's really a cute one.
冗談ってどこからだろう。
She's
どこから
like, no, seriously, when was it a joke? Please.
途中から。
途中からってことはケイちゃん、最初の真っ赤になったのはあれ演技じゃないの？
Details.
それって
It was only a momentary lapse, but there was no way Mion was let such a delectable detail slip by her.
いやその
Saying anything more is also a bad idea. In my bewildered state, I slipped further into an unfavorable position. After that, Mion continued to tease me about it for a while. We didn't find out what she wanted, though.
で明日が暇だと何なんだよレナ。
何の話だっけ？
It had been so long, Red had forgotten. That's how long Mion had teased me.
ケイちゃんさ、まだこのひなみ沢一人じゃ回れないでしょ？
That was true. I hate to say it, but if you blindfolded me and spun me around 3 times like we were playing pin the tail on the donkey, I wouldn't be able to tell up from down here.
そうだな。町へ行くのと学校へ行く以外はまだ自信ないな。
そうそう。それでね、明日ね、みーちゃんとレナでお散歩しながら、ケイチくんにひなみ沢を案内してあげようよってことになって。
It's interesting. So we've been here 2 months, but we never made time for that. That would be a godsend. Frankly, I was happy to hear about the offer.
もちろん行くでしょ？
暇ならな。
女の子が誘ってんじゃん。
She's like, come on, priorities, buddy.
暇ならな。
どうせ暇なんでしょ。
暇ならな。
I was being stubborn so as not to get her clear yes or no. And even though I thought it was a godsend, I'm too much of a scamp to say it up front.
圭一くん、暇じゃないのかな
Oh, think she's got your number, bro. While Mion and I had a rather sour back and forth, Rena peeked over at me hesitantly. Figuring I'd been a bit too rough on her, I just gave in.
すまん。許せ、ごめん。暇だ。
よかった。
Gah, it's like eating like really rich cake. It's like it tastes so good, but like the more and more you get, so it's like, oh, my soul's starting to feel overdone. The trepidation disappeared from Rena's face as it blossomed into a smile.
おうおう。ミオンさんとレナさんじゃ随分と温度差がありますじゃん。
Yes, there is. Seems Mion didn't care for how rude I was to her compared to how quickly I agreed with Rena. But her being annoyed was very interesting. So I pushed Rena forward, speeding up our pace to leave Mion behind.
行こう、レナ。明日は二人っきりで出かけような。嫌味なミオンは置いてって。
Hey.
圭一くんがそれでいいなら。
Hey, no, I like Mion.
案内しようって提案したのは私。シカトすんな、前原圭一。
二人きりでピクニック嬉しいな。弁当は持ってくか、レナ。
He's just so mean.
お弁当いるなら、レナ作っちゃおうかな。
レナもシカトすんな。二人がホテル街へ消えたって回覧す。
Oh.
じゃあ、レナ、今日は早く帰ってお弁当の準備するね。
Wait, who did she just, like, take out with that punch?
明日が楽しみ。じゃあね、圭一くんにみーちゃん。さよなら。
Rena bounded off like she was walking on the moon. After the dust settled, all that was left was me standing next to Mion sprawled on the ground. There was a welt on her face. Aww.
大丈夫か？ミオンとレナの立ち位置。
Holy crap.
2メートルは離れてたはずだぞ。
Rena's terrifying.
あんたが来て以来、切れ味は増す一方。おじさん身が持たないわ。
Why you talk like an old man all the time? Maybe it'd be easier if you stopped saying stuff that makes Rena want to hit you. Or maybe this will end up being Mion's slapstick comedy hour. If that happened, the results might be fatal.
くじけるなよ、ミオン。レナのジャブを見切れるのはお前しかいない。
私は膝じゃないかと思ってんだけどね。
Could it be that we were hanging around with an unrivaled martial art master? Maybe someday we'll see her debut in the extreme contact sport.
レナには負けられないぞ。ミオンも鍛えてリベンジだ。
ケイちゃんがしてよ。おじさんは応援してる。
Aww. Mion and I reaffirm our determination to discover ways to counter Rena's infallible technique. Oh, I was like, what's happening here? Oh, it's like, I think it's like an end of like the first chapter. Oh, that was very sweet. Is it gonna phase out? I was like, yeah, it's gonna phase out. That was cool. Very interesting setup. Wait, what? New tips unlocked. We're a mixed grade, we don't have a uniform. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, so let's look at that real quick. Let's see how this works. So we're all mixed grade and we don't have a uniform. So like, it's interesting they mentioned that. So what happens when I click this? Oh, it's extra scenes. Okay. I've already gone for a while. I think I'll stop here, but we'll explore these tips in a little bit. But that's interesting. So the tips are exploring side, like, extra bonus scenes or something that are maybe associated with what we would just covered. So that's pretty cool. Again, like I would absolutely just dive right into this, but I don't want to make this, especially a first episode for a brand new series, too long. But yeah, we'll definitely go into it. We'll probably do the tips and then move on to what the next day is. But ooh boy, like I said, interesting introduction, but holy crap, it's just so sugary. It's so just absolutely overwhelmingly sweet. I'm waiting for a shoe to drop or something, because maybe it's just going to be a really pleasant high school adventure in the mountains, but I don't know. It's like everyone who talks about this game does it in hushed tones, like there's some big secret. So I'm assuming something's going to go wrong, which is almost unfortunate because it is almost like a minor spoiler, because like I don't take it as face value as it is, but at the same time, if it weren't impactful enough to get people talking about it, I might not have ever heard of it. So it is what it is. But thank you so much for joining me today. If this is your first time on the channel, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've seen enough to get you interested in wanting to come back and see more. Maybe check out the backlog if you want. Subscriptions and likes and comments are always wonderful. I love comments, especially because it gives me a chance to kind of talk things out, and you can ask me questions or clarify something that I missed. No spoilers, please. But I try and respond to every comment I get on every video, which is really, really nice. Yeah, of course, if you're not new here, thank you so much for joining me for another new series. Really interested to see where this one goes. It is going to be a long one. I know that there's a lot of chapters, and I'm guessing each chapter game is like a full game. So yeah, it could take a while to get through this series. So we'll see how it plays out and kind of what I think about it all. But so far, I'm liking the atmosphere. I think while it is very straightforward, the characters are already really engaging and interesting. There's a lot to discover. I'm really curious to learn more about them. I think they're all pretty fun. I think the art style is very pretty. Again, it's very much redone. I've seen screenshots of what apparently the original looked like, and wow. I mean, it definitely looks like a kind of a home project, like a very small group of people just doing their best to make a game. And the fact that it's had remasters and remakes essentially goes to show that, again, it's a very beloved series, and I really like that. But it is kind of nice to have a very nice set of sprites to work with for this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you have questions or comments or concerns or whatever it is, I think it'll be fun to explore that with you. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. Thank you to the patrons and channel members who continue to support this content and just make it easier for me to make more, to get art for the channel and everything. I really appreciate your work. I should have seen a patron cast drop on Saturday. I'm trying to be upfront about those, but kind of gives a look up behind the scenes stuff, and it's I talk directly. We also often will talk about maybe games I'm considering playing and putting on the vote, because sometimes we do votes for the whole community, the channel community. Other times it's just me trying to wrestle between a couple choices, and I might ask for some opinions, but ultimately it's just kind of like a window into the behind the scenes stuff. So thank you so much. Hope you catch that and enjoy it. Other than that, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you later. So until the next video you're watching me or happen to see me in next, I'll see you there.